Alright, welcome back. So up to this point, we've got our character going in. We've gotten some free content for our sprite sheets to utilize here. We've started our character player, got a couple animations going, and gotten him a script going to allow him to walk around and run. Um, we got our idle animations. So now what we have to do is work on making our walk animations. So if you select the player Zelda Like character here in the screen, we're going to continue with our walk animations. So we have our walk down here. So let's just duplicate this one. Or actually, do we have this one? No, we don't. Let's go open our animator, window, animation, animator. And if you see, we have idles here. So let's duplicate this by hitting Control D, and it creates a second one. Base layer. Let's select it, rename it to walks. Double click here. So now we already have the idle down, idle up, idle left, idle right. We have our walk down. So let's draw our walk down right here. And while we're at it, let's duplicate the walk down, rename it to walk left, rename this one to walk right, and one more time, and rename it to walk up. So now we've got our walks. Let's come over here, walk down, idle up. We need to replace idle up with walk up. Idle left, we need to replace with walk left. And idle right, we need to replace with walk right. Okay, so now we can come back to our scene view. And if you don't have your animation window here already, just go to Window, Animation, Animation, and it'll bring up this window for you. You might have to drag it around and dock it someplace, but that's okay. So we're going to select our player like Zelda here, and we're going to say we want our walk down animation. Let's click play. That looks about right, 12 frames a second. If you think he's walking a little too fast, you can always slow it down, hit 6 frames a second. That's a little too, well, no, we'll leave it at 6. Make sure we do the same thing with our walk left, walk right, and walk up. So let's work on our walk left now. So currently if you click play here, you'll notice that it's still in the walk down cycle. To fix that, we're going to stop here, select the first keyframe, select this first sprite. We're going to expand this. Alright, hit the record button. And we're going to come down here to our raw art, free, tiny, or no, not tiny adventure. This one's the Zelda Like tile sets and sprites, graphics for GFX, and expand our character sheet. And let's make it so we can see our characters. So we did the walk down already. So let's find the first frame for walk left. And it's gonna look like he's starting at 35, 36, 37, 38. So if you remember right, 35 is what we use for his idle animation. So let's take 36 and drag it in right here. Let's go to frame 1, 37, drag right here. Frame 2, 38. Frame 3. Oops. back to 35. Now if we hit play, he is walking to the left. Alright, that's awesome. Now we got that going. We're going to select our walk right. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to hit the record button. Make sure we're on frame 0. Select our sprite. And we are now looking for the first frame of walk right. So remember, we use this one for the idle animation. So we will start with character 14. Frame 1. We're going to do character 15. Frame 2 is going to be character 16. And then reselect frame 1 here. Or whoops, frame 3. And we're going to have to go back to character 13. Now if we hit play. Yep. Now he's walking to the right. Walk up. Hit the record button. Select the sprite. And first frame of walking up. So it looks like we start at 24, which we used for his idle animation. So we'll start with 25, frame 1, 26, frame 2, 27, frame 3 will be 24. Hit play. Okay. Now we have our walk up going. So let's come to our animator here. Go back to the base layer. Now we need to connect these. Remember we created this is moving, and if you remember correctly, pull up the script for our action adventure here, and we are under our character movement animator controller, right? And if you remember, we set the direction X, direction Y, and then under the update movement method here, we set the direction equals face direction is moving. So we set this blue here that is moving to whether the character is moving or not. And then we sent this to the animator. Set direction is moving. And if you remember is moving here, if we scroll back up here, this is moving as capital is moving. So let's go look at our parameter. Our parameter is moving. That's correct. And we sent the variable for is moving. So to transition from our idles to our walks, we're going to click on our idles, right click, make transition, drag down. Alright. Now click on this little arrow. That's the transition. And you see it has an exit time. So first thing we need to do here is add under the conditions here. If you see the conditions where the list is empty, click add, and you got direction X, direction Y, or is moving. So we are going from idle to our walks. We're going to say is moving, and we're going to say it's true. Now we're going to say our transition duration is going to be 0. So because we want it to start, well, I'll show you this. So we have this set up, right? If you come to your scene and hit play, he should be moving. Why is he not moving? Oh, I know why. Come back here. So we have this update movement method, but we never call it. We're setting the directions here, so the directions was getting updated. we're going to delete these, and we're going to use our new method, update movement, from within the update method. Okay, now let's go back to our game and press play. And as soon as it recompiles and updates, it'll run. Alright, so now if we start walking, he walks. But notice that his walk speed kind of matches with his run speed. So, um, let's select our character here. And if you notice, it never went back to the idle animation. So let's take care of that first. So come back to your animator, select your player Zelda here. So right now all we have is this, right? Oh, we have exit time. Make sure we turn off has exit time, and we don't want a fixed duration either. Now we're going to go back from walks. We're going to make a transition to idles. We're going to select this. Under conditions, we're going to add this condition, and we're going to say is moving. We want to say when is moving is false. We're going to go back to our idle. Now, I'm going to leave all our options here set just so you see what happens. If we hit play, we're walking, and I release the button. You see how it's a little delay there? There. We'll make them run. And we're walking, and we release. You see how the character stops moving, but the animation continues to play? So let's turn off. Let's come in here and change these settings. We want it to transition immediately. We have no exit time. And we're turning off our fixed duration. So now if we play, make them run. As soon as you release the button, he stops moving. Alright. So now, let's take care of his walking speed. Let's play around with his walking speed. So you select our character. I think the walking animation, as far as speed wise, is good. So let's fix his walking speed here. We're gonna say that he walks let's say he walks at 75. Let's see if that works. What do you guys think? Line up pretty good with his animation. I think 100 is a little too fast. I think 75 is a little too fast. Let's try 50. Yeah, I think 50 lines up pretty good with his animation speed there. And our run speed, you can't tell. He's running. He's not running. Oh, that's because I kept hitting the shift key here. My computer wanted to know if I wanted to turn sticky keys on. He's running. He's not running. So let's do a little something special with his run animation. So back to your animator here, and we're gonna duplicate this by hitting Control D, or you can do right click copy and then right click over here in an empty space and click paste. So Let's change this to runs. Now, you have an option here. You can create a brand new animation, or you can do what I'm going to do is you're going to select this. You're going to select this animation. Where's it at? Oh, we might have to speed right here. So click the runs right here. You've got speed, right? Let's increase this. Let's make the speed twice, so it's gonna run 2 times as fast. We're gonna make a transition to our runs, and we're gonna make this transition. We're gonna need a new parameter. So let's create a new parameter. We'll create is running. All right, and we're gonna transition from our walks to our runs, and we're gonna say is running is true. All right. Now we're gonna transition back from our runs to our. Oh, before we do that, let's select our thing. Make sure that we have our settings here. Make sure that all this is zeroed out because we're doing sprite animations and we want everything to be completely responsive. We don't want the animator to really blend anything. That's pretty much what your transition and your fixed duration. So the exit time option here is it waits until it completely plays out the one cycle and then it exits, right? And we don't want that. We want a 0 for our exit time. We don't have a fixed duration, so fixed duration is it's got to wait so many seconds. It's got to wait for the animation to complete running at least once and then come through. We don't want that. With transition duration, does well for blends. You know, you can move your kind of offset it. Yeah. So transition, we'll say 25%. So it takes 25% of the animations and kind of blends them together. We don't need that either, so that's a 0. Right. All we're doing is basing off this is running. Let's make a transition back to our walks. We're going to say is running. We're going to say exit time 0. Transition duration 0. Fixed duration has exit time. And we're going to say is running is false. Now we're going to make an extra transition from our idles to our walk, or from our runs to our idles. And we're going to say that we're going to go from runs to idles if is moving is false. And again, 0, 0, no fixed duration, and no has exit time. Alright, so now, if we hit play, there's our walk. Oh, on hit play, so open your prefab here. You're going to change this to, we went with 50, right? That's what we went with. 50 is his walk, yep. Now if you hit the run key, he's running, and if we pull our animation down here, if you notice, it doesn't matter if you notice if we're running or not, it doesn't matter. It does not transition down to our run animation. So why is that? We have all our transitions set up. We're like, it's running. He's supposed to be running. It says that he's running. But what we forgot to do was we forgot in our code, we need to come over here. In our update movement, we need to pass the animator that is running variable. So we're going to copy this, and we're going to do this. So I have this variable here that says is moving or is defending to return. And right now our is defending is always going to be false. So is defending is never going to be true. But if we're not moving and we're not defending, we're going to say that we're going to say is running. Is running. And we're going to have to copy this moving statement up here and paste this. And we're going to change this from is moving to is running. Is moving to is running. Double click this, copy. Make sure we're using the capital is here. So capital is for the animator private static read only field. And then lowercase is the balloon variable. So we're saying set this is running animator parameter to the variable is running. And we're only going to do that if the character is moving or is defending. So if we click play now, what you should see that when I hit the shift key to run, his animation is twice as fast. But he's not really moving twice as fast. So let's see if we can change and play around with his speed variable here. Let's say 125. Let's see what 125 is for running. Yeah, I kind of like that. Now that we have his runs done, now it is completely up to you if you want to use this 2-speed, or what you can do also is instead of a 2-speed, I'll show you another way to doing this. So let's duplicate his walks, select them all, hit Control D, and it'll create duplicates. And instead of walk down, let's call this run down. Run down. Instead of walk left, we're going to call this one run left. And instead of walk right 1, we're going to rename this to run right. And the same with the walk up 1, we're going to rename that one to run up. Now we're going to come in here to our runs. Let's make this a little bigger so I can see it. Come into our runs, we're going to select our runs here. And instead of walk down, we're going to say run down. Instead of walk up, we're going to say run up. Instead of walk left, we're going to say run left. And instead of walk right, we're going to say use your run right animation. You're going to come to the back to the base layer, come back over to the scene because now we have that all set up. Don't forget you need to change the speed to 1. Come back to our scene so we can see our character. Select player Zelda Like character again. And let's look at his run. Let's start with his run down animation. Hit play. Okay, 6. So let's try doubling that to 12. 12. Let's go with 10. See how 10 looks. and we decided that we were doing 125 for his speed here. So hit play. Now remember, this we only changed his run down animation. So press run. We're gonna make our character run down. He's running up. So we changed our run down animation. That looks pretty good. Let's try his run up. So since we decided 10 looks really good with our run animations, let's change his run left to 10 samples. Run right to 10. So remember again, this is how many frames a second. So that means in 1 second, it's going to take 1 second to cover 10 frames. The other way you could have done this was leave this at 60 and say that at 60, it's going to take 60 frames to run 1 second. So how many milliseconds do we want between each frame, right? And work that out. That's 1 second. So how many seconds do you want between each frame? Divide, 60 by 60. So that's gonna be what is it? And so forth until you get down to your animations. But I think it's just easier to change your sample rate to 10. However you want to do it, however you feel comfortable, whatever gives you more control for your animations and makes your animations look good, go with that route. So I did this with the run down, run left, run right, run up. They're all set to 10. So now if we hit play, if we run, um, our speed, our run speed still seems a little slow for our run animation and for our walk animation. So our walk animation is good. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say my run animation speed is good. So we've decided for our run animation we're gonna use 125 and our movement speed to 50. So realize that we changed that here, which if you click overrides up here, you've got prefabs open select. If you select overrides, you'll notice that character movement script input controller script have been changed. And you can say either revert all or apply all. Let's go ahead and click apply all. So now all the changes that we've made on this prefab here in the scene have been applied out to our prefab, which means it propagates to any time we draw a new prefab in. Now if we hit play, right? Now, here's the cool thing. I think I'm gonna end this one here, and we will pick up with our next video at looking at our tiny adventure character that we have down here and reproducing. Actually, no, we will go into doing attack. We'll continue out with this and continue out making his animations with his sprite sheet first. And then once we get all the animations done for this character and it working in script the way we want it to work, we will come down here and duplicate the character and do the same method and redo the animations for this tiny character. And then when we get done with the tiny character animations, I will take you through creating animations for the characters that we've gotten for free on our Time Fantasy style and our Mythil Age style sprites here. But remember, These are all just idle and walk characters. So doing the attack animations and stuff would be slightly different. So that is it for now. I hope you have a good night.